Okay, for this lesson today, I thought that I would get some of my stencils that I have through Stencil Girl and do something like this with plaster using my stencils with joint compound, and then working in some dyes and some, let's see, the Distress Inks by Ranger. I have a couple of colors here, and so I thought that I'd work with that and then go back in with some other stencils on top of that, so that you get this kind of this really nice rich area. And you know, you can use these, you can rip this up and use these in abstract paintings, or you know, or just as they stand as their own as nice papers. So so what I'm going to do is so what I have here is, this is joint compound. I got this at Lowe's. This is DAP, and you can get any brand you want. The reason I like the DAP is because it's really nice and creamy color. Some of the joint compounds are kind of gray, and I mean, they dry a little bit lighter, but this color I really like a lot. So I primarily use that, and I get it at Lowe's. So what I'm going to do is, I have like several of my stencils. I might even use, this is a Tracy Batista stencil, which I love using, and you can get that on Stencil Girl as well. But I think I'm going to just stick with my stencils, and I'll just show you what I have here. Yeah, these are my latest ones, and I'll show you. I'll just do them. These were my Angel series, and one of the ones I like a lot is this round kind of mandala stencil. It's very fine. I'm sorry they're so dirty, but that's just how it is when you use a lot of stencils. But I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with this one, and these are like my rug stencils, and I'm just going to apply a layer of the joint compound with this palette knife. Okay, because you want that relief. That's what this is all about. Okay, so I have one side, and then I'm going to move this over and just do the other side. Okay, so we have that going on. So I'm just going to let that dry, and then when I come back, I'm going to play with some of these inks. And then what I might be doing is going over them with other stencils, and so that it doesn't, you don't just see this as a pattern, you'll start to see texture coming through, which is really fun. But let's wait till this one dries, and then we can go from there. Okay, so this is I worked on this one just to get an idea of what I wanted to do. And I used, let's see, on the Distress inks I have Antique Linen, and I have the Walnut Stain. And then as far as the oxides are concerned, I used Carved Pumpkin, which is in here. I used some of the Tattered Rose that kind of brought this light. It almost looks whitish, off-whitish. And then I also used, let's see, there's Walnut Oxide, which I don't know if it did anything or not. But see, you can just kind of see how it oxidizes the inks, which is so cool. And then what I did after this, and I think I should have waited, and I'm going to wait for the next one. I'm going to wait till it gets really, really dry. I took another stencil, the mandala stencil, and I put it on here, but it's still kind of wet. The surface was still wet, so I'm going to wait for the next one, which is this one, and I'll do the inking and the oxidizing, and then I'm just going to let that sit overnight before I add the other layer of plaster stencil. So I'm just going to I'm going to start with the Walnut Stain. Oops, sorry. Okay. I have these droppers. And I just have a brush here. And a little bit of water. See, the plaster stencil just makes it nice. You have this nice relief from it. Let's see if I add some of the Antique Linen. Just a little bit lighter color there. It's pretty, I like it. I don't know if anything will happen if I put the linen down here. Let's see what happens if I put it over the... Yeah, it's a really nice color. Okay, so I think that's good. And now with the Distress, you really have to, I think this one's Gathered Twigs. I'm not sure what color that is. But they have these, you really have to shake these things. for them to work. I'm just kind of going around like that. And then I'm going to get a spray bottle. And then kind of move that around. You need a heat gun. Kind of have some dripping things going on. Oh, I like how that's working. I'm going to add a little bit more of that to lighten up some of this area here. See what happens with the darker side. Ooh, this starts oxidizing with the ink. Okay, now this color, Carved Pumpkin, is really pretty. Well, this looks pretty now. I really like this. I like how the pink came into the dark and then into the light. I think that's really pretty. I almost want to stop because I like it. I like the subtleness of it, but I want to just put a little bit of punch. This stuff is really bright. Let's see if we can dilute it a little bit. It's a little bit strong. Look at it this way if you want some drips coming down there. I like how it's forming this thing here. Yeah, that backed down a little bit, so it's not as intense as when I first laid it down. Let's see if I want to do any more. I really like some of the dark in there. I'm just going to go in, I think, a little bit more. Maybe I'll have an area where it's not quite as diluted. Maybe I'll have like just a little spark of color. Let's see. I can always dilute it if I want. really hot in here. Oops. Let's see. I think I want to dilute it a little bit. I kind of like this subtle transformation going on. And the thing is, when you add, it'll activate again if you add water. So just know that you can adjust this at, with the spray bottle. Right there, I'm getting a little, I wanted to have a little bit of intensity. Right there. Let's see if I want it anywhere else. I'm going to add, I don't know what this color is, so I'm just going to test it on something. I don't know if I want to add another color in there. Let's see what that is. That's kind of like an ochre. That might look good down here. So I'm going to use, this is Gathered Twigs. So I'll write all the three down that I'm using for, this is, it's just kind of leaked a little bit. But I'm just going to add a little bit down here. It kind of matches the actual dyes. I don't know if I want that. Maybe just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. Make sure you have a lot of ventilation when you're using the heat gun. So it's just smoking in here. Let's see if there's anything else I'm going to do with this. This is kind of too dark. I'm going to add, and then this will be the last thing I add to this. I'm going to add some of the tattered rose down here. And see what happens. I'm also going to tone down just this one little area. Yeah, oops. That might be hard to tone down. Let's see what happens there. And then I better stop. It's really fun. Yeah, I'm going to mush that a little bit. And then some of the oxide, two different oxides are kind of blending together a little bit. And it's also activating the inks. Okay, I'm going to turn this off for now and just let this thing dry. So it's pretty wet, so I'm just going to let this dry overnight, and then tomorrow I'll put another stencil down. But I think it looks really cool. I really like it. Okay, that's it for now. Oh, I wanted to show you this because it might be hard to see what's happening with the Distress Oxides. This is one of the oxides, and I just, instead of using any of the inks first, I just use the oxide, and you can see, I'll just zoom in a little bit. You can see what happened here. I mean, there's this yellowish color, and then this purple color, and then all this stuff in between. It's really beautiful, just the way it is. So, yeah, so I wanted to show you that what you can do with just nothing but the oxide. Let me see if I can achieve that. And the other thing is I also let that dry without the hair dryer, without the heat gun. So I think this is the same color, and it's using the gathered twig. So let me just see what happens if I use the dryer. Because I was really shocked that this blue color came through with this. It just... So experiment with these things. See, it's not coming up using the hairdryer, the different colors. So maybe a thing to try and do is to just put the color down and let it dry on its own, so that you can really get a lot of range of color. I'll do another one, and then I'll show you. Let me try this one. I'm going to use the carved pumpkin, and I'm just going to do that. I'm going to spray it, and I'll try. I might go in again with the gathered twig and maybe move it into this. And then just see what happens there. That's really wet. Oh, I can already see some of the blue coming in here. So I think too, when this dries, you're going to see more variation. Let me just see if I dried this. I'm not going to dry the other one. I'm just going to see what happens when I dry this one. Yeah, I can already see the blue happening over here. And just be careful not to burn the paper, because it was smoking yesterday when I was doing this. Okay, that's going to take a while to really dry. But I think you can already see how cool this is all turning out. I think for the most part, though, I like the gathered twig. I wonder if I just put in some of this, the tattered rose, what would happen? Okay, so I'm just going to let this dry now. I didn't use the dryer on this at all, so I wanted to see what would happen if that, if I did that. This one I dried a little bit, and then this one I just completely let dry by itself. So once that's all dry, I will show you this. But I thought it was really cool. Before I was thinking, oh, you have to use the inks along with the oxidizers, but you don't, as I've seen. So that's what experimenting is all about. I've done this. I've been doing this all along for a while. And now it's like, oh, all of a sudden I just thought, oh, I'm just gonna get a plain sheet and just do the oxide. And then there I saw that and I thought, wow, okay. So I'm going to go on to the next step with the other one. Okay, so I have the two stencils I'm going to use to go over the top of this piece here that I worked on yesterday. And I have my angel, and you can get these at Stencil Girl and look up Kate Thompson. I will put a link in the comments if you want to order these. And then this is part of my, let's see, you can't really see it. This is part of my rug collection. Well, you can kind of see it on this. It's part of my rug collection. And I have an angel collection and I have a rug collection. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get this and right back, getting my palette knife. And that, and then I'm just going to repeat it over here. Okay, so isn't that cool? Let's see, do I want to do a little more? I was going to put the angel in, but I think I'm not going to do it. It just seems kind of distracting. So I might get in my other stencil. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to use my mandala one instead, just up at the tip. There. This one's a little bit finer than the other ones. And it kind of, well, you can kind of see it, but anyways, I think you get the idea of what I'm doing. I might, let's see. See, what's cool is you can see how some of the color is blending in with the compound that I just applied. So I'm going to call this one done for now, and I'm going to pull this one in again, and I'll do the angel right here. Sometimes with this joint compound, I like to leave it out a little bit because it can be a little bit soupy. And if you leave it out a little bit, it gets a little bit harder, and then you get a tighter image. This just bleeds a little too much for my taste. So that's what I suggest, is like take a portion of it out and put it in a container and maybe just let it sit for a while so it's a little bit, you know, not quite as moist. That's cool. I really like that. but still there's stuff in here. It could be a lot crisper. So that's what I suggest, is you could go in and just take a little bit, just put a little bit of like this amount or whatever in a little container that's open. Keep it open, and then just let the air dry it a little bit, and I think you'll get a better consistency of the joint compound. And that's our lesson today. See you next time.